Home Secretary will be focused on. She'll be focused on cracking down on criminals, on defending our borders, while the party opposite remains soft on crime and in favour of unlimited immigration.
Well, there we are. Dan Hodges joins me, Mail on Sunday columnist. I mean, this was tub-thumping, right-wing stuff, cracking down on law and order. You lot over there would let anybody in. We're going to control our borders. He's making this a real centrepiece of what he stands for, isn't he?
Well, he did in that answer. I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, I watched it. I saw that answer. I thought, to be frankly, I thought I was looking at Nigel Farage. The dispatch box there. But then I saw another couple of answers, and I thought Ed Miliband was standing there. So you know, he was mixing it up a bit. No, I mean, it was. I mean, I think the key thing is, I mean, I think everybody was impressed. I mean, at how confident he was in his first political outing, and I think in terms of the politics, obviously he was responding to a question about Suella Braverman. Who he has appointed to his cabinet. I mean, I think we all know why. He talked about unity. Suella Braverman was his offer to the right of his party. But equally, I think if you look across the board, I think that this is a government now in which is a slightly moved away from broadly the political positioning that we saw with Boris, we saw with Liz, and is a government that is basically going to say, look, next 2 years we've only got one chance, and that is to calm things down, no more psychodramas, and we need to
unity within the party is going to be a big theme with him.
Yeah, obviously unity, and
yeah.
I think
unite or die, he said.
Unite or die, he said, and I think, look, the reality is Suella Braverman is not in the government because Rishi Sunak thinks she is the most going to be one of the stars of his government. Suella Braverman is in the government because she took the political calculation at a crucial point in the very concentrated leadership election. She came out for Rishi against Boris, brought sections of the right to his coalition, and that's why she's there. But I don't think he necessarily thinks she is indicative of the direction his government is going to be.
It's interesting because Priti Patel, right from the very beginning, from August 2019, Priti Patel overpromised and underdelivered on what would happen in the English Channel, what would happen with overall net migration figures. Is there a danger then that with Suella in place, they make the same mistake again? They promise they're going to do great things, they're going to solve the problem, and don't do it, and pay, in the Red Wall particularly, a big electoral price?
Well, if I was being cynical, I would say, who is the danger for? Is the danger for Rishi Sunak, or is the danger for Suella Braverman? I mean, Suella Braverman has come in, she's accepted the role of Home Secretary, Rishi has given her the role of Home Secretary. She's now got to deliver, and it is now Suella Braverman who has to come up with the practical solution to the migrant crisis. Now, if she doesn't deliver, who's that going to be on? Is that going to be on Rishi Sunak, or is that going to be on Suella Braverman?
I think it might be on the Conservative Party at the next general election. It's very interesting. The further you go away from Dover, the bigger the issue becomes, because it's in the northwest, it's in the northeast, where these hotels are filling up in seaside towns at a rate that is almost unimaginable. People are seeing the impact of this. They're not liking it, and they're saying, you know what, we voted Brexit to get back control of our borders, and that's now being made a mockery of.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I mean, I have to say I can understand why you might be sort of slightly cynical about the Conservative Party's ability to deliver on this, and why you may be setting them up for a fall. I mean, the one thing I would say is I completely understand what you're saying about the importance of immigration as an issue. I do think, though, the one thing that has happened as a result of Liz Truss's let's be honest, sort of slightly disastrous premiership is it's reset the political prism and the view through which we see politics. Rishi Sunak thinks there is only one game in town, which is the economy. Now, he thinks that is what is going to determine whether or not he loses the next election. He's got Suella Braverman in. He said to Suella Braverman and the right of the party, OK, you think this is a big issue, you think immigration is a big issue, you've told me, right, you show me you can fix it. If she can't fix it, he's going to say, well, you had your chance.
All right. Final thought. You've covered this circus of Westminster as it's been.
Yeah.
Did we today look at the two people who will lead their parties into the next general election?
I think so. Do you know the one weird thing, just the one weird thing? Rishi Sunak was very, very impressive today. If we're in a year's time, and Rishi Sunak has somehow managed to close the gap, well, let's just see what Labour MPs are saying about Keir Starmer.
Oh, gosh, there
That's
we
the
are.
only thing
There
I'll
we
say.
are. The circus can move to the other side of the house.
circus
Dan Hodges, as ever, a pleasure to have you on. Thank you for joining us here on GB News. In a moment, we go to Manston in Kent.